do not believe what you see in the news, because they're talking about national data and not what's really going on here locally. I'm here to tell you the real story about the real estate market here in Colorado. I'm going to start off with some stats. In the past 7 days, there are 1,272 new listings and some coming soons. There are 293 homes that are back on the market, which means the buyers backed out for one of a couple dozen different reasons. 1,531 homes have had a price decrease. And finally, there are 1,035 homes that are pending, otherwise known as under contract. Contrary to what you're seeing on the news, prices of homes here are not skyrocketing. They're not going up. In fact, I see constantly a majority of them are having slightly longer market times and price decreases. In May, the median price was $590,000 when the home first got listed. The sold price was $568,000 in May. In July, homes were listed at $570,000 and the closed price was $571,000. As of September, the median list price was $585,000. The median sold price was $560,000. So we're seeing a slight downward trend over the course of the year. May, for example, because that was our peak month of the year for price and home sales. Why do they say in the news that the inventory is so low? And they come up with these really creative ways of showing the data and comparing weird time slots and whatnot. I think that's a way to gather ratings, but doesn't really show a real picture. I like to do it a simple way. I took the data from this past 7 days and compared it to same time periods over the last 5 years. And our inventory of homes as of right now is the same or higher of any of the previous 5 years, with only one exception. And that was the crazy 2022 period we had. When you look at right now compared to 2022, there was like 14,400 something homes currently listed here in Colorado. In 2022, when we had the big high number that they're bragging about in the news, it was 15,100, a difference of only 700 homes. You can see that it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people like to talk about days on market, and homes are sitting longer and all that. It wasn't so bad in May, where we had 7 days on the market, but it's been gradually going up since then, where now typically when you list a home, and this is median for all residential properties in the Front Range of Colorado, we're seeing about 17 days on market. Let's get to that really sticky subject that real estate agents don't like to talk about.
Interest rates.
And yes, it's true. Right now, they're as high as they've ever been in the last 23 years. I've been involved in real estate, construction, investing for quite some time now. My gut is telling me it can't really go much higher. Yeah, it probably could, maybe. I think maybe not. So we'll have to wait and see. Got my fingers crossed. This has put so many people on the sidelines. I'm going to wait to buy a home because I don't want to have a payment double what it could have been a few years ago. Now, some people are thinking that the way the market's going, that, we could see a crash or my value of my home has gone down. Has it really? Again, when you compare it to when they were peaking during the crazy times where people were paying $100,000 or more over the asking price to get a home. Yeah, if you want to compare it to that, it's kind of like, oh man, I could have gotten so much for it then and all that, and I missed out. The thing about it is, if you bought your home before the crazy period, like prior to 2022, or even 3 years or more out, you've got equity beyond what you put down. Still, you haven't really lost enough that where you're lower than it was when you bought it. And if you had it even longer, we saw prices appreciating every year for more than 5 years prior to that. It hasn't really dipped down below any of those prior years. We're still looking at some good equity in home. Right now, there are 1,035 homes that are under contract or pending, as I mentioned before. And this is in the last week, 7-day period. So why are people buying? You got to be crazy to buy in this market. Well, some people got to. They have to for some reason or another, or they decide it's a good time, or there's ways where it's not so painful. One of the options is what we call a rate buy down. There's a 3-2-1 and a 2-1 buy down where the seller contributes money towards you having a reduced rate on your loan for the first year of like 3%, second year 2% reduction, third year 1% reduction, and then after that it returns to what the going rate was when you first got the loan. And the 2-1 works the same way. It's just 2% the first year, 1% the second year, and then back to normal. I'm seeing a lot of these rate buy downs going on. Another option is where you can assume a VA loan on a home or an FHA loan on a home that the seller has, and that can often be a much lower rate, 2%, 3%, high end maybe 5 something. You assume this loan and you get a second for making up what you don't have in the equity that these folks will have. So your second mortgage you'd be putting on the property, that'll be a higher rate, but it's going to be a much smaller monthly payment than having the whole loan at that high rate. So overall, you're going to be saving money. One caveat is, yes, you're going to need 10% down typically. Some people are deciding to suck it up and pay the higher mortgage. That could be done for a number of ways. There is a loan program out there where for first-time buyers, you only need $600 out of pocket. The down payment's handled by the lender, and on top of that, when you have that low down, typically there's PMI or mortgage insurance that you have to pay additionally. And this one lender is offering no mortgage insurance. So it ends up saving a few hundred dollars a month on homes. And so it's a great way for cash-strapped first-time buyer to get in on a home. And this is fairly new. It's been out about a year, and we'll probably be seeing more of it. Another thing that's going on for people deciding to suck it up to buy a home is, we even heard Barbara Corcoran, know her from Shark Tank. She's also an investor and all that. She knows real estate fairly well. And she's mentioned this.
But I can tell you this, house prices are not going to come down. I believe that when the real estate interest rates come down, when the mortgage rates come down, all hell's going to, oh, you're not supposed to say that. Every buyer on the sideline is going to jump into the market as long as the interest rates come down to 5 or 4%. And houses are going to go up in price all over again.
Some other money people have mentioned this as well, where when interest rates start going down, right now they're pretty high. But when we start getting them heading down towards 6% or even less, more buyers that have been waiting for rates to drop are going to come out of the woodwork. And that's going to create a huge surge of people looking on the market compared to, well, what inventory's out there. And we're going to have a repeat of the feeding frenzy we had before. Prices will probably go up and go up a lot. And so some people are seeing this opportunity. We're probably at or near to our low point in home pricing. There could be, an opportunity to get a reasonable price and later refi when the rates drop. Another thing I've heard, and I haven't fully checked it out, I need to talk to a number of lenders to verify this. I've heard that some lenders are allowing people to take their existing mortgage that they have on their home and use it on buying another home. That's pretty cool. And I hope it's true. I'll be checking it out, but that can create possibly a little more momentum in the market. Where I know so many people that are just like, oh, I'm not going to sell my home. I'm sitting on 3.25. Why would I want to get a rate that's 4% higher? If they're able to move their loan, that might change their mind. So in the meantime, hey, if you want to check this out for yourself, give your lender a call. Ask them, can this happen? Can this be real? I'm going to find out more, and when I do, I'll let you know whether it's real or not. Thanks for joining me today. I decided to sit out in my yard. It's a nice fall day here in Colorado. I really love it here. Got any questions? Feel free to give me a call. Take care.